Coming up on Valley News Live at 10, the push for Fargo bars and restaurants to have a later closing time.
A move by the Minnesota Attorney General is causing some businesses to keep their doors closed.
And Congress is scrambling to pass a coronavirus stimulus bill. The latest on whether or not you'll be receiving a check. Valley News Live at 10 starts now.
Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
New at 10, changes could be coming to restrictions placed on bars and restaurants in Fargo as a couple of local leaders look to help these struggling businesses.
Devin Fry joins us live now from downtown Fargo with more on the story. Devin?
Mike, Andrea, it's been getting quieter earlier here in downtown Fargo since Governor Doug Burgum's executive order went into effect, but that could be changing soon. A couple of local leaders are looking to get some changes made for restrictions placed on local bars and restaurants.
Two Fargo City Commissioners are urging Governor Doug Burgum to ease restrictions on local bars and restaurants. The letter was drafted by Tony Gehrig and also signed by Dave Pepcorn and asked Governor Burgum to reconsider some restrictions placed on these businesses. Gehrig says that this is in light of the easing COVID numbers in our region.
With the reduction in the COVID numbers, now is a good time during the holiday season to try to give that aid to them and allow them to do business, which is the best aid that a government can let them do.
In this request, the commissioners asked for occupancy of these businesses to increase from 50 to 75% capacity. They also asked that in-person dining services be allowed to stay open until midnight rather than the currently mandated 10 p.m. closing time.
If we just simply allow a couple extra hours of time open and a little bit more people in the door, it's not going to affect the health situation dramatically. It may not affect it at all, but it will help these bars and restaurants, and it will help the employees who are the economy. People are the economy.
Gehrig says that these changes would be crucial to help struggling businesses and the employees here in Fargo. The decision now lies with the governor. Gehrig says that from what he was told, the letter was well received.
I'm optimistic. I spoke to the mayor after their meeting. This was a few hours back, and he said that it was a well-received letter. Other mayors had said similar things like, hey, this is happening, and we are seeing a loss of jobs going away. We're seeing a lot of people affected. So we'd like to see this being loosened up now that we have better numbers.
At this point, there's no timetable for when and if we could expect any kind of announcement for changes here for bars and restaurants in Fargo. But Gehrig is hopeful for something soon. He said he's hopeful for something even as early as this week. Reporting from downtown Fargo, Devin Fry, Valley News Live.
All right, thank you, Devin, for that live report.
Meanwhile, in Minnesota, the Attorney General is cracking down on businesses reopening early, so much so that many who plan to open for indoor dining are changing their tune. The Minnesota AG's office says that it's seeking civil penalties of up to $25,000 for each violation of the executive order. Lawsuits have already been filed against two restaurants that opened up in East Grand Forks. Brutus Brickhouse and two other Moorhead businesses, Legends and Sunset Lanes, showed up on an open for business list earlier this week. Well, tonight they tell Valley News Live that they didn't open their doors without the governor's green light. Some other area businesses agree.
I figured I could face the music with the fines if that came down to it, but since they are pulling licenses for up to 3 years, I don't want to risk it, so we won't be opening dine-in until Governor allows us to.
Many are standing behind the business owners, risking fines and penalties to save their livelihoods, including some economists. One of them, John Phelan, says that tonight there's no strong evidence that shows these lockdowns drive case numbers down.
North Dakota's positivity rate for COVID-19 is below 5% for the first time in months. Compared to just 1 month ago, North Dakota is down 7,000 active cases, a much different reality than what health experts predicted following the Thanksgiving holiday. However, health officials say Christmas is an even bigger hurdle, and now is not the time to let your guard down and have large family gatherings, even if you've already had coronavirus.
The little bit more concerning factor is that many people celebrate 3-4 holiday gatherings or Christmases.
Then I think certainly we do have an increased risk that we'll see another spike and a more severe spike than we would otherwise.
Experts say a socially distant holiday season is the only way to ensure schools can go back full-time in person, as both West Fargo and Fargo schools plan to transition their students in mid-January.
North Dakota health officials say while the positivity rate is down, so is the number of tests being completed. A month ago, when numbers were at their worst, North Dakota averaged more than 10,000 tests per day. Over the past week, it's down to 6,400.
Just because our numbers are dropping doesn't mean that there aren't asymptomatic spreaders out there. So it's important for everyone to think about how testing can help them get through the holidays and protect their loved ones.
To expand testing, the state has been using more rapid and antigen testing in long-term care facilities and schools. But this means more entities are responsible for reporting their own numbers.
More help is likely on the way. A panel of experts has voted to recommend emergency approval of the second coronavirus vaccine, Moderna's. The FDA says they'll move quickly to follow the recommendation, which means the vaccine should arrive in the state as early as next week.
Congress appears to be on the verge of passing a new pandemic relief measure, but there are more troubling signs about COVID-19's effect on the economy. Michael George reports from Wilmington, Delaware.
Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are said to be nearing an agreement on a new coronavirus relief bill.
We have a responsibility to get this right. People's lives depend upon it.
It's been 7 months since Congress passed its last COVID spending package. Now they're under pressure to get something done soon.
I don't have nothing. I don't have a job. I don't have nothing. I have 5 kids.
Hundreds of people lined up in Miami just for a chance to receive a free supermarket gift card. Last week, some 885,000 Americans filed new unemployment claims. That number rising for the second straight week to a level not seen since September.
The American people wait for more emergency assistance ought to be over.
The Senate bill includes a $300 weekly federal unemployment benefit for 4 months. The roughly $908 billion measure would put money in most Americans' pockets in the form of a stimulus check of up to $700. The bill also contains rental assistance, food assistance, money for schools and vaccine distribution, and $300 billion in aid for small businesses. Here in Wilmington, Delaware, President-elect Biden said he's encouraged by what he's hearing about the bill. In the meantime, the incoming administration continues to take shape. CBS News has learned that Biden plans to nominate Michael Regan to lead the Environmental Protection Agency. If confirmed, the 44-year-old will become the first black man to run the EPA. Biden is also going to name Deb Haaland as his Interior Secretary. The New Mexico Congresswoman would be the first Native American to serve in the cabinet. Michael George, CBS News, Wilmington, Delaware.
Cedric Richmond, a senior advisor to President-elect Biden, has tested positive for COVID-19. In a statement, a transition spokesperson said that he and Biden's recent interactions have all been outdoors and have lasted less than 15 minutes. The president-elect took a coronavirus test today. It came back negative.
Later on Valley News Live at 10, a nor'easter during a pandemic, so you know what that means. More snow than some cities have ever seen.
Hutch is back in just a couple of minutes with a full weather forecast. That's when Valley News Live at 10 continues.